and welcome to the Koach Katlyn Show and the Koach Katlyn offices. I'm your host, Koach Katlyn, and I am so thrilled that you have decided to come onto the pink couch today. We got coffee, tea, ready to have a great day today. If this is your first time watching the Koach Katlyn, welcome. So excited you are here. If you're returning, thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this family of growth who is committed to fulfilling our God-given purposes. And to all my ministry partners who make this possible, thank you so much for your generous giving to make sure that lives are changed through encouraging them to live out their God-given purpose and spreading Jesus around the world. Thank you so much. And so I want to encourage you guys, before we continue on with today's topic, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss today's topic. We all need today's topic and the teaching from today's topic. But I'd love to stay connected with you, not just through the show, but if you go to CoachKatlyn.com/the show, CoachKatlyn.com/the show, you're going to be able to check out the latest episodes. You're going to see how we can stay connected through social media, Koach Katlyn on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You're going to see how you can get connected to resources. I've written 2 books, Habits Not Hopes, the 10 essential daily habits that will enable you to maximize your potential, and Slay and Pray, a 30-day women's devotional all about how to slay the enemy and pray effectively. So that's there. You're going to see ways you can book me to come speak, book me to be a coach, and ways you can partner with Koach Katlyn Ministries so you're a part of the reward of the souls that are being saved and encouraged through this program. And last but not least, some people ask me what a coach is. I am simply a life coach who is here to guide you from where you are to where you want to be. And today the topic is around guiding you from where you are in a place of stress and anxiety to a place of peace. How many of you want peace? You know, when I think about peace, I think about being at the beach. Any other beach people? Wow. I think about being at the beach, and I'm very pale, so I like to go in when it's cold months. I think about bundling up in a sweat. Now, this sounds so odd when it comes to the beach, but this is my ideal beach. I think about it being 70 degrees, enough where you have to throw on a sweater, be at the beach, and you go sit down there and you listen to the ocean, and then you go to an oceanfront restaurant and you grab some good food, and you're at peace. Not worried about how many calories are in your food. That week or 2 weeks you're there, you're not worried about what's going to happen. You're just relaxed, and it's really hard to be stressed when you hear the ocean waves crashing in the sunset setting, isn't it? Everybody just kind of went there in their minds. I want you to take a moment right now to think about your most peaceful. So close your eyes. We're all going to do it. Close your eyes. For me, it's the beach, but what is your most peaceful state? What is your most peaceful state? And just go there a few minutes. Okay, open your eyes. I know you're like, hey, I just found my peaceful spot. Let me stay here for a second. But I'm going to teach you today how you can keep peace in your home on a continual basis. What if you could live in a constant state of peace? What if you could be in a place in your life to where you didn't need vacation so much to escape? You need a vacation to, have enjoyment. I'm not saying stop going to the beach, but what if peace didn't become something you escaped to every now and then, but something that you lived in all the time? It would be great, right? Well, I'm here today to tell you you can and show you how you can. But first, I wanted to share with you, I love this. This is the definition of peace. This is the definition of peace. Freedom from disturbance, tranquility. Freedom from disturbance, tranquility. Wow. We can live in a place to have freedom from disturbance and tranquility. Freedom from disturbance and tranquility. Now, I'm not saying sometimes you won't have a bad day. You're probably going to get a flat tire at some point. Somebody may tick you off at work. Your kids may just act crazy one day. Your spouse may get on your nerves. Your friend may turn their back on you. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days when the peace is disturbed. We cannot live in a world that is conflict free, but we can guard our peace and be intentional about creating peaceful environments. And this is not just something we desire. This is actually something that God has gifted us, and Jesus tells us about it. Peace is something that God sent Jesus to leave with us. That God sent Jesus to leave with us. John 14:27 in the Passion Translation states, I leave the gift of peace with you, my peace, not the kind of fragile peace given by the world, but my perfect peace. Don't yield to fear or be troubled in your hearts. Instead, be courageous. I want to read this verse again because I really want it to sink in that this is a gift. Peace is a gift that God sent through his son Jesus, and that the world tries to offer us peace through different things, through money, through stability, through people, through substances tries to give us peace. But true and lasting peace is a gift from God. John 14:27. I leave the gift of peace with you, my peace, not the kind of fragile peace given by the world, but my perfect peace. Don't yield to fear or be troubled in your hearts. Instead, be courageous. I think a lot of times it's our lack of peace in our life that stops us. We try to find so much peace in other things. We try to find peace. Well, if I get married, I'm going to have peace because I'll be in a stable relationship. If I have such a great 401k, now I'm not saying don't be smart with money. Don't be stupid with money. Like, be smart with money, having a retirement, having a plan, that's great. But that in essence is false peace to say, okay, it's fragile peace. It's up and down. I mean, you can have stock and the world tells us, you'll have peace if you have money in the stock market. Well, that's up and down every day. Everything is fragile except the peace that is gifted from Jesus, the Son of God. And also, Mark 4:39. So let me just say this. Peace, I want you to think about this. Peace is actually something that God wants you to live in continually. Every mom goes, don't you know how toddlers are? Yes, in fact, I do know how toddlers are. I have a 15-month-old, but there's still a peace he wants us to live in. And then Mark 4:39, there was a storm in the boat with the disciples, and Jesus got up and said, peace, be still to the storm. Jesus got up and said, peace be still to the storm. I think this is a great example. First of all, the John 14:27 that says peace is a gift Jesus has given to us, and don't rely on the fragile peace of the world. So he's gifted us peace to just live at in our life. But then also we see in Mark 4:39 that there was a storm in their life, and still peace from Jesus calmed the storm. Can I tell you, you may be going through a storm right now and you're trying to figure it out. But Jesus, if you call on him, he will bring peace to the storm. He may not send the storm away, but he can bring peace in the midst of the storm. You see, I believe that God wants us to live in a continual state of peace, even in trouble. But we must reach out to him. So you're not going to live in a continual state of peace if CNN is your God, if Fox News is your God, if your pastor is your God. The only way you can truly enter into not that any of those things are bad, but I'm saying that you're only going to get the answer of continual lasting peace through an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ and reaching out to him. Have you ever been in places to where you're just like, oh, so peaceful? And I'm not just talking about being at the beach, or maybe for you it's the mountains, or you're on a nice hike, whatever your peaceful place you went to was. But you can create peace in other environments. You can walk in environments and sense peace or sense tension. Have you ever walked into the room when somebody just had an argument and you're like, wow, the energy here is really intense? Or you've been in a room and you're like, wow, this is really like the vibes here are not good energy. But then you've walked somewhere and you're like, wow, there's just something different here. I remember growing up, my mom is a huge peace person. She is by nature, blessed are the peacemakers. She's so blessed because she's a peacemaker. She likes there to be peace. She likes to have her home as a peaceful place. And I remember I would have friends come over to my house. I would have people come over to my house and they say, your house is just so peaceful. And, not that there are three sisters. It wasn't always peaceful. There were definitely some arguments. It didn't mean that anything didn't happen. We were always busy and we had things going on. But there was a sense that there was peace in the home. And my mom was very intentional about keeping that peace. We're going to keep positive things in this home. Peaceful home. And now my husband Jeremy and I are very intentional about making our home a safe haven of peace. That things, the fragileness of the world, but Christ is the center of our home. We're going to have a peaceful environment. We've got to create peace. And more than anything, we have to accept. So my wedding ring is a gift from my husband as a promise to forever. I love it so much. It's a gift from my husband as a promise for forever, but I have to guard this gift so nothing happens to it. I'm not going to throw it down on this floor and leave it. I'm not going to put it in the trash bag. I have to protect the gift. And we have to really be intentional to protect the gift of peace that Jesus left us with in John 14:27. And so I want to talk to you about a practical way we can lean into God and create peace. So today, we're literally talking about how to create peace. You raising your hand? You want to create peace? I'm going to break it down because I love it. This is going to be an easy acrostic for you to remember. I'm literally going to break down peace, P-E-A-C-E. The blonde in me had to be like, let me make sure I know how to spell peace. P-E-A-C-E, peace. P, pause. The first thing in order to accept the gift of peace and create peace in your life, you accept it from God, but then you need to pause and take a moment to realize what is disturbing your peace. I think so often we go through years and years and years, and we have not lived in peace so long that the lack of peace becomes part of our life. Like, we don't know what it is to live with peace, so we just get used to living without peace. And that's not how Jesus wants us to live. That's not God's promise when he sent the gift of peace through Jesus Christ. He wants us to live in peace, but we have to be intentional to create that peace. But if we get so busy in life, if we get so distracted in life, we can live in a continual state of no peace and not realize that. We'll just get used to it. It's kind of like you don't realize something's wrong in your house until somebody's coming over because you just gotten used to it. Just like, I remember right now, honest to God, in our dining room, because we're in a temporary house before we move into our other house, there's a little Tykes basketball goal there, and I didn't even notice it because it's just like we had sold our dining room table, and I was like, oh, it's not a big deal, 15-month-old, so I don't even notice it. And then people were coming over. I was like, oh my gosh, we have a basketball goal right there in the middle of the dining room. And so we have to pause and realize what's disturbing our peace. And really, so what does that look like? That's evaluating, the speed at which we are living life. Do we like the speed at which we are living life, or is it causing us to not have peace? Do we need to say no to some activities? Do we need to create more margin in our life, more space to just pause and enjoy things? Are there relationships in our life that are disturbing us and not causing us peace? Are there things we're involved in that are disturbing us and not causing us peace? So the first thing in creating peace is, number one, P. We have to pause. We have to take a deep breath. We have to pause. Whether it's an hour, 30 minutes, whether it's a whole day, just take time to really evaluate your life. Evaluate your life. Evaluation is key to change things, to grow in things, to see what you like and don't like. So pause and take inventory of your life. What do I like? What's causing me to have peace, and what's taking my peace away? The second thing is E, environment. So we're spelling out peace. P, pause. Pause. Figure out what is going on. Get off the treadmill of your crazy life and figure out what is going on that doesn't cause you peace and get it out. Number 2, E, environment. Environment. Change your environment. If you are constantly in a state of chaos, that is going to not cause peace. And some of you are going to be like, are you serious? Sometimes one of the ways we can create peace is by making our environments, which are our homes and our offices, clean. Sometimes decluttering our homes, decluttering our closets, decluttering our office, even decluttering our phone. I decluttered so many apps and organized them, and I can't tell you how much peace that brought me to say, oh, now we're organized, now we're together. Organizing your home and organizing your life and creating an environment that is conducive to run on an operating system will a lot of times bring you peace. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people and their home is so peaceful because the kids' clothes are laid out for the week. They have a system for lunches. They have a system for grocery shopping. They have a system for laying out church clothes. They have a system, and they've created an environment that is not only organized, but a place of peace. And also that environment, you protect that environment. You don't have a lot of arguments in that environment. You create positivity in that environment. You watch what you listen to in that environment. You watch what's on the television in that environment. You watch who you allow into that environment, who affects that environment. There are people who can come into an environment. I'm sure we've all seen it. Maybe you grew up in a home like it where everything's going good and then this one person comes into and they ruin the environment. But also people respond to environments. So if we're creating peace in the home, we're creating peaceful environments at work, and we're setting an atmosphere of peace. Like the Bible says, a soft answer turns away wrath. So if we're setting an environment of peace, we're being kind, we're creating an environment that's not stressful, it will cause us to have peace in our home and peace in our environment, even our cars, with all the old French fries down the side. Who am I talking to? But we have to create peace. So P, pause. We have to pause and take inventory. What is creating stress in my life? What do I like? What don't I like? Push it out. Take a pause. E, environment. We need to declutter. We need to get organized. You're like, are you serious? Yeah. Getting organized, getting in a system for your life is going to help you feel better about your environment and create a peaceful environment. A, attitude. You have an attitude that decides that you're going to be a peaceful person. You're going to stay peaceful. And this is hard. I am somebody who has little patience. And I'm somebody who really can get stressed or worked up in very quick moments. But I have decided, especially since becoming a mom, there are more stressful things. Like when it was just me and handling stuff, and that was stressful. But having a child is a whole nother level of stress because you're trying to make it all happen. But I've found that choosing an attitude that allows you to focus in on what you need to and just choosing, you can choose your attitude and say I'm not going to stress out. I'm staying cool. I'm staying peaceful. We're going to make it through this. My husband and I had a year last year where so many changes, so many ups and downs. The only way we can describe last year is a roller coaster of highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. It was just a roller coaster. But we choose to have an attitude of saying, okay, this is good. We're going to make it through. We stayed level-headed. Of course, we had moments. But overall, we kept our home peaceful and we kept our environment peaceful. Why? Because we chose to have an attitude that said we can get through this and be peaceful. So P, pause and take inventory. E, environment. Your environment determines your peace. A, attitude. You can have an attitude that creates peace. C, confront. Now you're not going to really maybe like this. Some of you are like, yes, I've been looking for a fight all day. Like my husband, he's not looking for a fight, but he doesn't mind confrontation. He'll get it out, get it in, but in order to create peace in our homes, in our workplace, and just in our life in general, we are going to have to confront the people that are in our lives that, you can't very well, if your kids are wreaking havoc, like you have to confront them and say, hey, mommy and dad, or maybe they're older, like we're trying to create a more peaceful home. How can I make this more peaceful for you? I mean, nobody's gonna be mad at you saying, I want to create a more peaceful home for you. We have to confront the people in our lives who are causing problems. And we also have to confront the problems. Maybe there are things that cause us maybe there are certain problems, certain things we watch, certain things we're involved in that cause us to be non-peaceful. Like if you're involved in a debate team and it makes you angry every time, maybe you need to get disengaged from that activity. Or adult softball, you just come home mad and you're mad at people. Maybe you need to disengage. Whatever it is, you've got to confront the people and the problems in your life that are creating underlying stress. So what a lot of times people will do, and I've seen it over and over again, and I've been guilty in different places of doing this too. We all are. We just want to okay, let's just create peace. Let's just not fight. Let's not do this. But when we don't confront people who are bothering us or are wronging us, and when we don't confront the problems that we're dealing with, if we just push it aside and say, oh, it's fine, and we don't confront it, it becomes a subconscious stress that actually takes away peace in our life. It takes away our health. So we have to confront the things. And then E, enter in. There is peace in His presence. Can I tell you the only true way, all of these things are aids to it, but the only true way that we are going to get to keep continual peace in our life is through entering in to the presence of God. Entering into the presence of God. That's the answer. We've got to create time in our day. I know so many of you, I feel like I talk to everybody and they're busy. Busy going from here and there, but we have to create environments of peace, and we have to enter into the peace of the Lord. And this world that we live in, it's crazy, the world we live in, but we have to be intentional even more about spending time with God. One of my favorite things to do, and it's hard to find a moment. I'm not saying that every day you're going to be able to go spend an hour in prayer. Every day you're going to be able to go spend an hour reading your Bible. But you can create moments of peace with God. Maybe it's 5 minutes in the shower. Maybe it's putting in your AirPods and turning on a worship music. For me, one of the things that makes me most peaceful in the biggest chaos of life, or if I'm super, super stressed, this is like a plug. I don't even know who he is or what he looks like, but I know that William Augusto, he has worship instrumentals, and if I turn those on, I can just take 10 minutes to really enter in to God's presence. And sometimes you're so busy, you don't know what to say, but I find myself doing this, and so I'm just going to show you what I literally do when I'm stressed out. And it can be in my car, it can be walking. When the pausing hasn't worked, when the environment that I've been intentional to create doesn't work, when I feel like, okay, I've tried to adjust my attitude, when I've confronted the people and the problems, and none of that seems to work, I'll enter into the peace of God because He has that for us. And I will turn on William Augusto. My favorite song right now is Santana, and it's literally 13 minutes of just instrumental. Put my AirPods in, and I just breathe. Lord, give me your peace. Lord, I need your peace. And I will continue to do that until that peace comes on me. And it's hard to explain, but it feels like a blanket. The peace is coming on me, and I feel like I can function more and better. Because let me tell you, let me have just one-on-one situation with you right here. You don't need to... Heard somebody say one time, Coach, that person just ruined my peace. That person ruined my peace. Life is too short. Moments are too fragile. Time is our most valuable coin in life. We determine how it's spent. If we are not intentional to create peace in our life, we will constantly live in a state of chaos. And let me tell you, the Lord is not in the midst of chaos. Where there is chaos and confusion, you're not going to find the Lord in it. Where there is peace and clarity, you're going to find the Lord in it. And there are some of you watching this program that you think you've been living in peace, but when you pause and figure out, when you create true peace, P-E-A-C-E, pause to figure out what's disturbing you and bugging you. E, creating an environment by decluttering, by getting people and things out that are, and creating systems that make your life flow more effectively. A, attitude, when you begin to create a greater attitude and say, I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to be positive about this. C, confront. When you do the proper confrontation of people and problems that you've been dealing with, it will get rid of the underlying stress. It will cause peace. And when you enter in to God's presence, because in His presence there's fullness of joy. In His presence there is peace. I promise you, there is a new level of peace that you are going to begin to live in. I remember, I always think, like, shout out to the Australians, because every time I see an Australian woman, especially like moms, I'm just like, wow, they just seem like so chill. So shout out to all the Australians watching, like, so peaceful, so great. And I'm just like, God, I wish I could live that peaceful. I remember a few years ago talking to my husband like that. I was like, I wish I was born Australian, and then I would just like be more peaceful. He's like, Katlyn, you can create peace and enter into peace. And when I began to put these things in practice, pause to figure out what was disturbing me. E, environment, created systems, decluttered, created an environment of peace. A, attitude, chose to just say, I'm going to have a positive attitude and pause in these moments and then be peaceful. C, confront, when I began to just confront the people and the problems I was facing instead of letting it slide and having underlying stress. And when I chose to E, enter into the presence of God on a daily basis, I found that gift of peace that Jesus left us with in John 14:27. Jesus wants you to live in peace. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to feel like you're at the beach or in the mountains or whatever your peaceful place is. But you can live in a place to where maybe the storm's going on, but you're holding on to the person who calms the storm. You can live in a state to where the little things that used to bug you and work you up don't bug you anymore. You can live in a place to where you are seriously centered in on God's greatest calling on your life. And you can live in a home and be around people where you are in a continual state of peace. Create peace. Pause, environment, attitude, confront, enter in. God wants to gift you peace today. We'll see you next time.